So, assalamu alaikum to everybody.
Walaikum salam, sir.
So, I just brief history. Some people may know, some people may not. I do I have a testimony interviews online. How that started, Brother Jason has suggested during COVID. He's like, man, why you just don't do the interviews online? You can get more people because it's online. But prior to that, we were doing them here after the meeting would take place. And what started it, it's interesting, Sister Claudette's book. We were in the hotel room with the minister in Houston, and he did the foreword for the book. And he was sharing with Sister Claudette how he enjoyed the book, he said, because those are the stories I don't get the chance to hear. That's what he said, people's testimony. So we were saying that, I was like, man, we need to do something about that. We came back from Houston, various believers who wanted to participate, because not everybody wanted to participate. We put all of our testimonies in a book and sent it to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as a gift, right? And we sent it to him as a gift. And then after that, the minister had made a statement. I think it was on the believers meeting. He said, "My witness bearers are too damn silent."
Say that again.
So that's how we ended up getting. I think the first person from the team was Brother Rashad. Then we had formerly Brother Jesse, now Brother Abdul Kian. And I would write the minister and ask him, could I interview them? And the last time, one of the last times I asked the minister, we was in Los Angeles. And I asked him, could I interview Brother Haroon? And he asked me why I wanted to interview him. I just saying, like, I just have this thing about people who really don't talk much, they observe a lot. And I feel like he has a lot to say. And the ministers, he said that people don't need his permission to give their testimony. But we ended up doing, I haven't had a one-on-one with Haroon, but we ended up doing with Haroon, Sultan, and several of them talking about the World Friendship Tour. And we did Brother Don and Brother Sadiq, formerly Brother Melvin. He told me he's going to allow me to interview him, but he said he want to do it in person. So if he ever comes down, right? So we got to get it. So that's why I'm thankful for all of those shows that are now popping up where they're interviewing people. Like you look at Brother Sharif's son, Brother Joshua's show. If he hadn't interviewed Brother Joshua, Brother Rasul, Aaron, right? They will go back to the grave and we wouldn't even know those stories. You know, and I always think about our brother who passed. He was on the team with the green tan. Salim. Think about the stories that he returned to the grave. Now, Brother Shaheed from Dallas actually found that interview that Brother Jeffrey did. The sound quality is not bad. Where they're interviewing Brother Salim when he was in the hospital. You know, I have one when we did with Brother Rockman, and the sound quality is not good, but we have it. You know what I'm saying? Think about like with Mother Tanetta and all of these people. That's why when I travel to different cities, if there's an elderly, a pioneer there, I encourage people to just record their interview. Let them just record it, and we'll save it so when it's time. Yes, so I have a testimony. Where believers can learn from one another, right? Absolutely. So I'm gonna ask some questions. Some of them I have jotted down, and we'll open up for people. So this is one inspired by something that you said today, which is a great lecture. Great bearing witness too, brother. So one of the things you talked about handling pain, and it made me think about Brother Jabril recommends a book saying "Pain, the Gift Nobody Wants" or something like that. Yes. I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm planning on getting it. So this is a question for both of you all. When you reflect back about your Islamic experiences, right, being a Muslim, was there any pain that you have experienced that you can share? Well, you don't need to go into all the details in your journey, and if so, how did you handle it?
Praise be to Allah. Thank you firstly for inviting me and
He coming back in September. He says,
and give me an opportunity to share my story. When I first joined the Nation of Islam, Minister James Najee. He used to be, he's the first one the minister heard speak in New York. He had his wife had moved to Fort Lauderdale, and in the Friday night sessions, he heard me speak, and he told the minister at that time, Brother Desmond, to put him on the rostrum. And so I was on the rostrum, and so he said, the brother who was assisting him at that time, he said, well, I'm going to listen to you all both, and then I'll choose an assistant minister. Well, I'm new. And when I mean new, I mean like brand new, not a month in. And I think after like a month or two, he chose me to be his assistant minister. Well, some pain came along with that. Sometimes when I walk, I can feel the dots behind my head. And people do little deliberate things, and then I remember once we went to a joint meeting in Miami, believers meeting, because we're 18 miles from Miami, and Minister Rasul, I got introduced to him, he made a seat for me, and I guess somebody was watching. As soon as he made the seat for me, he sat me down. No more than 5 minutes, they came and they picked me up from the seat, and he addressed it from the rostrum, which I didn't know that part of Minister Rasul. Peace be upon him, when he addressed it from the rostrum, and I didn't like it.
He addressed what?
That the brother moved me when the brother saw that he made the seat for me, and that was very painful. In me being moved, and also it being addressed from the rostrum. But Minister Rasul is Minister Rasul, he's going to address it his way. I didn't know that we had envy within the nation. Because when I heard the word, it sounded so perfect. And so that was a hell of an experience, and how I handled it. I spoke with the brother, and I told him I didn't choose myself, and there's space in the nation for all of us. And so we became close. But initially, it was very painful because, I was just trying to help, and there were a lot of things that I could have been doing with my life, that I decided to join the Nation of Islam and let that be the centrifugal focus of my life. And then my nursing and everything else was really secondary and tertiary. I was all in. And so I didn't know that we had, those dynamics with Terrance. But I got a good introduction.
Brother TC.
First, I was going to say, Assalamu alaikum. Messenger. Thank you, Brother Willie, for allowing me to come back and actually sit down in a chair to do this. So that the brotherhood would be tight. I was mad at Brother Willie for a while. I was like, I got to do it the rostrum. I had to teach, but I don't want to sit down in a chair.
Thanks to Brother Aaron.
Yeah. No, and I say that because I think this format allows, it really sometimes takes away the ego, because when you're on the rostrum, you think you saying something, but this, it humbles you. I'm going to ask this question and it pulls out of you. And so I'm just happy to be able to be a part of that. And I think part of the conversation that we had before this interview started about the ministers that, you don't have to ask permission for those to give testimonies, that we should be always testifying about what we know of the minister. We shouldn't wait till a situation happens, we have to testify. They should see us bearing witness of the goodness of the minister, the work of the minister. And, so when you talk about pain, it spiraled me down a lot of paths. The pain of growing in this, and then the pain of recognizing your stuff. And so I would say, how did I deal with the pain? I'm still dealing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a process of, you have your outward, but then you deal with your inward. You deal with your own devils. So when you start knowing your own devils, you are less likely to be judgmental of others. Because you really start to see your stuff.
Yes, sir.
And at the same time, seeing the minister still love you. And he's like, but do you know me, brother minister? And if you know who he is, he does know, and he knows that. And it made me also think about the testimony of extraordinary women that you and Brother Rashad and Brother Keon helped to do. And when you said the pain, I'm the emotional one. It started me off with the emotions because tomorrow marks that transition period for Sister Ava.
Right.
So how to get past that, but pain, like I said, sometimes it was, a matter of fact, it was, I was at Rock of Ages Church this morning, and Baptist Church, and I was with my boy Seth 45 and his aunt. I got there at the church and I went into one lot, parking lot. He said, no, you gotta go to the other lot. I couldn't get into the other lot, so I just parked on the street. And I said, how you get into church? I said, walk this way. So I started walking that way, and then I saw Seth. I said, oh, that's what I've been looking for. He went on in. So I told her that story. She said, see, God is always on time. And God is, every situation, there's no no coincidence. Everything happens for a reason. And we started talking about going through different trials and reasons, but when you in it, it's hard to see. But you know you're gonna get to the other side. But God has to take you through something. Sometimes that pain is orchestrated, and it is orchestrated by Allah, whether it's His active or permissive will. And then once you go through it, you see the other side. So it's like with difficulty comes ease. So the ease comes while you in it. But the greatest force to deal with that is seek refuge in Allah. And I mean calling on Allah. I mean with the fortitude that like I say, even when you don't have it, still calling. And then when you're on the other side, you're like, wow, I made it. And you may not know. I'm a believer that when I don't know, Allah knows. There's been a lot of situations where I had no clue.
And Allah brought me through. So thank you for both of you all sharing that. I'll ask you this question because the brother said a brother I know said he asked another brother this. What do you wish you knew if there was one thing you wish you knew as a younger Muslim that you now know as a seasoned Muslim, a veteran Muslim, what would it be?
Nothing for me. Because, belief is one thing, but, where would I demonstrate my faith if I knew?
Right.
Wow.
For real.
You know what I mean? So if I knew, then there wouldn't be nothing to be hoped for. There would be nothing because I knew in advance. So I think not knowing gives us a forum to demonstrate our faith in God.
Would there be anything you would do different?
No, because God is a foreknowing God. I say this, and I might sound arrogant saying it, all right? But I'm going to try to put it across, without that flair. That Friday night class, I'm enamored by it. When I can't go because of work, I'm like, wow. The classes, I used to tutor math in college. There's no course that I've taken, the microbiology, and there's no class in college that I've taken, I think combined, that equals to that Friday night class.
Beautiful.
I think that class gives meaning to all the other classes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And so there's no experience, no pain, nothing that I don't know that I don't go to a Friday night class and I come out rich. I wish every believer would begin to see the value of that. I think if we knew the true value of that Friday night session, I don't even think we'd be truants. We would miss. We wouldn't have no truancy officers. We would always be in Friday night's class. So there's nothing I would want to know because I would like for my faith to be demonstrated.
No, I think I'll follow what Desmond said. I thought about that maybe a couple of days ago. What would I change? I like, hey, I regret this. But I said, if I were to change, and you watch a lot of movies, they say, when you go in the past, time traveling, don't talk to this one or don't do this one, because if you do this, they'll change the whole outcome. So I think about if I go back and try to change, if I wish I would have done this, then the things that I've experienced, I may never have experienced. The relationships I have with those in the nation and the relationship I have with the minister, that may have never happened. You know, the places and the rooms that I've been in, they would never have happened if I go back and change something. And I do, and it's interesting, when you talk about the circle, I remember being Friday night coordinator, and I remember this young sister, it was something I asked her about, you know, do you think the Most High could use her or something? And I used to make everybody in a circle. It was nobody could just sit in a circle, just, you know, everybody had to say something. The most thing she said was just so profound. She said something where she said, I'm nothing. I wouldn't be able to give nothing because I don't know anything, and I don't. It was the way she said it, and I was like, that's it. I said, that's why God will use you, because you don't feel like you know anything, that you have anything to offer. You don't have this air about you. And the way she said it, it made me know that she didn't feel like she was just this, and it was that's the vessel that God can pour into. You know, because you don't feel self-righteous. You don't feel like you all this. You don't feel like you all of that. And you know that God will use you. And that was the beauty of her speaking, you know, because everybody was, you know, dropping this jewel, dropping this jewel, dropping this jewel. And it just as when Master Father Muhammad asked, could he choose?
Right.
And when he said, I should like look that broken English, what? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody was looking at him like he was gonna be the one. I'm the one. Look at me. Hear me. But he chose Elijah. That's right. And I just think about her heart. You know, she know like, you know, what, you know, I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. I don't know what God can teach me. So yeah, I wouldn't change anything. I think we all want to say if this had happened, but I also know that everything that has happened was by his active or permissive will.
Thank you. You mentioned about Sister Ava. Are there any, you know, like we know Sister Ava about what we've seen and what we've heard, but you've had interactions with her, right? Planning and doing her show that she actually had, and you being in the southern region, you too, Brother Desmond.
Yes, sir.
So is there anything, like any experiences you've had with Sister Ava, any jewels that you, from being around her, that she shared, anything that you all can share so we can honor a service among us?
She, you mind? Yeah. She came down to Atlanta when she was doing the separation tour, and I got an opportunity to, I guess, to be in closed circuit. She defends the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I would say gloves off.
Oh,
like that. It's almost like bare knuckles, you know. And she has this. She had this kind of confidence. And when she defends the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, if you don't know her, you would almost say it's like mildly sarcastic, like whatever. Like when she's speaking about the enemy, you know. You know, she speaks with such great confidence of who he is and her defense of him, that she's not enamored with nothing the enemy has to say. That struck me. You know what I mean? I said, wow, she's a hedge. She's a defender.
Yes, sir.
The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I've studied a lot of her sayings, you know, and what she has to offer. And she is really a good example of how it's written in the Provisional Constitution. Allow a woman to rise to her God-given talent. That's in our Constitution.
Yes, sir.
You know, and a lot of people are not familiar with the Provisional Constitution, but when you read about that, you know, she's the epitome of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan being a secure man in allowing her to rise to her God-given talent. And she, in turn, turned around and was a great defender of him. So that did a lot for my confidence. You know, when you ask me something about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, it's like almost like I'm going to war. But I'm trying to use words to not come off like that.
Right.
But you know, when you know what you know, then you have to speak with confidence. You know what I mean? And so that's what she brought to the table, this kind of confidence where it just seems unyielding.
Yes.
If a better choice of words.
That's it.
You have a
Yes.
confidence in him and a confidence to defend him seemed unyielding to me. I was like, wow, you know, it's awe-inspiring. And coming from a woman too, you know, it erases, you know, and it disabuses some of us that a woman can defend the Christ. Even if we read about it, you know, growing up in America, there's still this degree and taint of male chauvinistic and, you know, misogynist behaviors that we have. And so by Allah raising her, you know, it dissolves, you know, all of that madness that a woman can't, you know, be in the glory of God.
You know, it's interesting because it was I joined the nation in 1995, and I started working with Dr. Ava in 1996.
Oh wow!
Brother David at my mom's, he said, "We're gonna go to Philly with me. We're gonna meet with Brother Darius, and we're gonna start selling her products." They think nothing of it. Go to Philly, sold her product for 2 days, and for the next 15 years, I was calling back and forth to Brother Darius. Every city she was going to, different cities I was showing, sell her product. Savior's Day, 96, 97, 98, 99. I was at her vending table. So like the first 15 years, you know, we was family, but I was in contact with Brother Darius. And then when she started her show, you know, I would call in, you know, to be that random caller. and we used to be friends, you know, for, you know, had 15 years already in selling your product. You know, I'd just be at the table. Everybody like, oh, want the new? I'm like, yeah, this what we got. I ain't have to sell nothing. I had to just stand at the table and y'all come get her products because everybody loves Sister Ava. But then when that one time she said, hey, I gotta go into this meeting. Can you run the show? I'm like, okay. Then she said, no, I want you to stay on the show now. I now want you to stay on the show. And so now it's me and Sister Ava. Brother Darius, you know, still there, but he wasn't there. You know, she was calling me. We would have a conversation, talking about this. But the thing about that, Brother Desmond said, we used to always, me and Sister Brown and Sister Donna, we used to laugh at Sister Ava. And what I mean by laugh at her, because she's just so, like, she's like really down to earth, real humble. Like when she's like, something, you know, when she sees people, when she comes out, she's really like that. And when she starts teaching, she'll make good jokes. And she's such a black woman because her hairpiece, she's always whipping her hairpiece, right? And, you know, fitting and whipping it. But when she gets to this point in her lecture about the minister, different.
Shifts.
And we used to laugh about that. She would shift and she would go off. She would go into this zone, even on the show. And she was like, oh, what? Why y'all? And she realized that she's good. Like, y'all didn't stop me? And we're like, no, not at all. And she would go in. You felt the strength and the love that she has for the minister.
Right.
And it was unmatched. And I always remember, I think it was the Savior's Day, 28 years later, Malcolm X in part 2. You know that lecture she was at the Rock. And we will not tolerate
That's
us.
right.
And everybody, and the minister comes out, classic. And that lecture just every time you want to get hype about the minister, that's the one. That's the one. But she used to do that all the time. Even like a testimony story of women. When she did that, when somebody asked about a question, she got upset. Like she ready to go. Like I know you asked me to go. She was that. I mean, she literally was a defender of the minister, but she defended him so strong in truth. Like there was no way, what angle you could come at her about him that she couldn't defend. So when you saw the lawsuit with her and Brother Harper, their relationship, all the lawsuits that was coming, she was a lawyer. She was a defender of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And she did not she didn't shy away from that. And I remember bringing her to the campus, literally in '97, driving to Atlanta, picking up and driving back to North Carolina A&T and having her, you know, do a lecture. Just all the many years of working her, but she was always about the minister. And you could not say a word about him without her saying something about it.
I have more questions. Anybody have any questions before I ask more? Anybody have any other questions?
I have a question. Okay, yeah, so we were looking at, this morning, the interview, of I Have a Testimony, and you talked about, Brother Desmond, that you were very sick during COVID, and your response, right?
Yes.
Could you share with us? I thought it was so beautiful how you responded and called out on Allah and thanking Allah for that experience, which was similar to how the minister responded to what he was going through.
Right. I forgot I had said that.
Yes, I really did too.
Thank you for your question. COVID was uncharted waters for the entire country, but I'm a healthcare professional, and so I was, on the front line.
Yes, sir.
While people were staying home, I had a pass, a curfew pass that allowed us to just travel. And so while everyone was kept off the street, we were still working. After the first patient went to the hospital with COVID, and when the patient came back from the hospital, no one wanted to initiate the dialysis treatment. Because people were just like, everybody seemed to be dying, so I put the patient on. Eventually I ended up with COVID, and I think I lost about 15 pounds the first week, and just, it became, I wasn't emaciated, but I was headed there, and the MGT, you gotta say this part, because they fixed up a nice basket with fruits and water and everything, and they left it at the door. Of course, we can't be in close contact, and that's what helped me to get through, and then they bought me a nice little plant, kind of like a spider plant, and it was small, but then it grew huge, and so I kind of looked at that plant every day and watered it and put it out for some sun. But while I was very weak, I thank Allah for life, and if I was to die, then I thank Him for allowing me to meet His messenger, His Messiah, and register in the nation of Islam. But you don't know the turns life is going to take, and I wouldn't have anyone to mimic had it not been for the young leaders.
Yes, sir.
So his testimony is part of our testimony.
Yes, sir.
And we go the way we see him go.
That's right.
And so we have to practice the responses in our mind, because we're creatures of habit.
Yes, sir.
And so when we see him and what he's went through, when Allah brings it into our lives, then we have an opportunity to demonstrate our faith, because we ride on his coattail for a very long time. And so there's a scripture that says, must the righteous bear the cross alone? And all the other FYs go free.
No, sir.
Yeah, humor like a minister too.
So I guess I got to live that part, and I had an opportunity to respond in a manner that I was taught.
Yes, sir.
And so we're constantly learning from him when we don't even know that we're learning.
Yes, sir.
So I'm trying to keep my composure, but
It's beautiful,
he's a
brother.
wonderful human being. The
Yes,
best man I've ever met.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Minister Louis Brown.
Yes, sir. I
Yes.
have one more question for Brother Terrance. I knew what you were about to talk about when you mentioned the anniversary of Sister Ava's death tomorrow, because it's my birthday. And I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember what we were doing. We were watching a movie, and just the impact. And I know you worked with her for a long time. So what qualities or characteristics do you remember most about her?
Just her love of the minister and her giving the believers the platform. I remember it was Savior's Day 2021, 2022, we had a separation at Mosque Mariam, and she had me on the program and said, "Oh, Martins, you gonna open up."
Open up
in Chicago. You know, I ain't tell her that. I said, you tripping. In my mind, I was looking for Brother Ishmael, Jeffrey, Brother Abel, all the folks I knew, none of them were there. And she said, don't worry about it, I got you. Go open up. And it was like a matter of fact, like the confidence. Like she know, me and the minister, I'm good. I got this. You go open up. And she was always a defender in bringing people to the forefront. She will always allow us, she was like, but Terrance, you the person to get the people for the show. Go find me somebody and bring them to the show. And she will always be entertained to hear what people are doing. So when you say about the testimony, it's like Sister Ava will always highlight people. And it's interesting because, like you said, the minister doesn't always know the stories. He doesn't always know the testimony, so he gets to hear that. And she offered that platform, you know. So when that happened, you know, we was getting ready to do a show. So 6:30, you know, show's at 8, 6:30 happens, and I get a call. Hey, don't say nothing. There's something going on with Sister Ava, but we know, just keep going. Then close friend of mine, Brother Saad, student national secretary, he calls me at 7:30. He said, all right, you know, there's some situation. Don't tell nobody she's not coming on. Just go on with the show. Everything's gonna be, you know, all right. Oh, no, he didn't say everything gonna be all right. He just told me don't, you know, just go on with the show. Now, me and him were tight, but he don't call me. You know, he don't call me, hey, how you doing? You know, if I need to reach him, I can. 10 minutes to 8 o'clock, he calls back. He just says, our sister's gone, you know, just, and the show's at 8. And I had to call Sister Rona to let her know. And the welling of her on the phone, knowing that she had just lost our sister, I felt her all like through the phone, just grab me and hit me like, no, you know, I felt all of that. And you know, we lost somebody that really loved the believers. That really wanted to look out for the believers. Even organizing Savior's Day in the workshops when she became over that, but she was always looking, even then when she started doing her master classes and working with the sister, she was always looking ways to help the believers. And she was always grateful. She was always grateful, so humble. She was just always so humble. She was just very grateful for what the believers would do. Now she did stand on the position that you're gonna treat me a certain way, because that's what the minister said.
That's right.
That the minister said you're gonna, you know, so when someone didn't do properly by her, whether it be hotel security or whatever, you know, the minister would know, because that was his spokesperson. Representing him. And but she didn't carry with air, but she noted everything. And she always was very, you know, so they even had projects upon projects that she was working on. And whatever the minister had her do, she was like, I'm working on this, I gotta do this for the minister. I gotta jump on this call for the minister. There was nothing that the minister wanted her to do that she did not do. Yes, her whole life was dedicated. And when you see the old videos, you know, she introduced the minister, she was the secretary. Like she said, the man that you see in public is the exact same man you see in private. And she was a testimony of that, to let everybody know what man he is. And she did that for us.
Allahu Akbar.
I have a question for Brother Terrance. So you are very inspiring to me personally. My question is, how do you put your time into servicing the nation? Like, I see you one day, you'll be like, wheels up, I'm in California. Then 24 hours later,
Wheels up, I'm heading home. You're in North Carolina, you're telling people about how to do the Aggie Pride at homecoming, and then I see you again.
Dancing.
Yeah. And then I see you again, you're like, wheels up, I'm in New Orleans. Like, your time schedule, like a lot of times I'll be like, all right, I won't go to the mosque and clean up, then I won't go sell a few papers, but I gotta pick these children up at 4 o'clock and my wife at 4. Like, how do you, how you balance all that? Cause you be energized every time I see you, and like the other day you posted, like, my son, you know, and I be like, damn, this brother be, like, hands full. Cause sometimes, like, I be doing so much, and I be like, man, I ain't got enough of time. I be wanting to, like, I've been watching the same lecture, Love and Duty, for like 2 weeks now. Can't get to the end, cause I'm always in the doing something. Like, how you schedule, like your time, like, how you fit all that in?
Right on, but no, I think it's a couple of things. One, the first thing is you gotta love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then that's what you feel. I love what I do. I love coming to the mosque. Like when I'm in the city, I schedule my flights around mosque time.
Sure do.
I literally schedule so I can get to the mosque. Like if I leave on a Sunday, it's gonna be late in the evening so I can make it to the mosque. I scheduled this trip. I'm like, well, I can't extend it to Sunday next week, so I may get here early this week to get to the mosque. But it's a love what I do. But I think part of my history is that I grew up in the church. So as my travels, I don't mind going to church. Like we went to Rock Ages Church, I was in a good place. But when I went to campus, I became conscious. But then I met my mentor. We started doing community organizing, so I was in the community. So I was always with the people. So I can be around conscious folks. Then we started getting in politics, so I can be political. But my job is a blessing because it afforded me the opportunity to travel. And my travel to be paid for. And I can still be an activist. And I don't have to deny my Islam. So yeah, that's major, but that was just a blessing from Allah that I met with our president, and then back in 2004, then we hooked up in 2008, 2010, I started working. In 2012, I ain't apply for the job. They was like, yeah, we need you to do this, we'll pay you. And I just kind of rolled into this career. So that was the blessing of Allah, but that was me accepting accept your own and be yourself. Yes, sir. As long as I was being myself. I was doing security for a bunch of people because the minister showed us value in people. So I used to show up. And I would do security. Now it's like any party that's there, like, why you here? Who you scared? Or like, you scared this person? I end up doing it. But it's not for a check. And everybody think you get paid. Some people I do get paid for. But I just love doing that for our people. And I just make sure people are secure. And then Allah has blessed me, with the different opportunities. But the schedule I put it this way, and I'm trying to answer the question, but I just say this. My schedule ain't nowhere near the minister's.
That's right.
So I ain't busy. I ain't busy. The minister wakes up 3, 4 in the morning playing the violin, practicing. The minister makes his prayers, he's studying. I remember the Millions More movement tour, the security was trying to keep up with him. He would do the press conference in the morning, then he would do the leadership meeting, then he'll do the main lecture that night, then he'll go back to the hotel and teach until the wee hours in the morning, and then go to another city and do it all over again. And he was doing that on the Millions More, and he was just doing teaching, never stops teaching.
That's what I think.
So when I do my quote unquote little stuff, whatever. Not like literally, like he's teaching a world. He has family. I can't keep up with all the great grandchildren that he has. He teaches his family. He teaches us. He teaches world leaders. And one of the things I'm very careful about, this is not part of the question, but I'm very careful about how we talk about certain leaders that's in the public that we think that may not like the minister or even know the minister. Be very, very careful. Because I know somebody made a comment on my page, I had taken a picture with a sister, and it was like, you were there, you know she said something about the minister. But when I was with her a couple of months ago, this particular sister said, hey, I need to call the minister because the 30th anniversary of the Million Man March is coming up. Because the minister be having conversation that we don't even know. We don't know that he's talking this person. The blessing of my job, last year, Fox News did an article on me in March. And it was like, Farrakhan's top soldier. I'm like, what the hell? You know, because they had sent us an email and said, we're going to do an article. And I said, y'all better pay attention to this. We didn't think nothing of it. And the article comes out, my picture on it, to my top soldier, Farrakhan top soldier. And they had all my Facebook. I love him with all my heart. I was like, oh, shit. But they spelled my name right, so I was cool.
Right.
But that was the first hit. Then they came back and hit us again in August. Because I took a picture with the EP administrator. And it was a collage of
environmental EPA.
Yes, the Environmental Protection Agency of the government. And they took that picture and they were trying to tag Farrakhan with me, with him, with, you know. And then they did another article in February. Dang. And I say that, you know, it's just like we can't do enough for him. But that, I don't even know how to, that's a good point. I'm not sure where I was going, but that tested my fiber though. Because I was like, and you know, the blessing, I don't know how I got to this point, but the blessing of that, at his 92nd birthday, we was at the Salon restaurant. And everybody, you know, we made sure the minister get in. We had gone to the Monster Day, the minister having this event, you know, I'm helping Sister Naima, and that's a beautiful, y'all Sister National.
Oh, yes, I like that.
When you see the stuff that she lays out,
Oh, yes.
I was just in awe, just helping just as the minister gets in, program going on. Finally, they running out of food. I said, let me go find a plate downstairs. Go find a plate, and the minister's over here, and I go to a corner way over there by Ishmael. I'm sorry, eating. Brother Rasul said, is there anybody that would like to say something? And like a robot, something clicked in me. I've never done it. Just stood up, like, and just walked from over there and started to the microphone. And Brother Sutan, research team for the security, said something, and I got to say something.
And made us all cry.
And I just talked about my love for him, but I said, I love you not because of you, because you give me this. And when I said it, I saw Mother Khadijah's hands go up. Because she was happy that I love the believers and not just him. A lot of times we love him, but we don't love one another. So I think I said all that because that's what brings me all the way back. Because the Fox News, I told the minister at that point, after that, when they put me out there like that, I didn't know I was gonna lose my job. I started going to see artists, different hip hop artists, different labels, different celebrities. I said, can I take a picture with you and send it to the minister? Click, click, and I would just send it to the minister. I was sending it to the minister. So when you were saying, you know, on my schedule, I was letting him know the minister was so happy that he was getting greetings from all these people all across the country. Because at that point, hey, I want to send this to the minister. I want to send it to the minister. I want to send it. Can I take a picture with you? I want to send this to the minister. I want to send this to the minister. And he was getting all these people from the minister, and I said, because I love you. And so Allah has blessed me to be in all these places with my job where they know that I am in the nation. And then, like I said, they exposed it to everybody else in the world through Fox. But also, it gave me the opportunity that my job, knowing with the minister, I can travel with the minister. So my vacation days for my job is Savior's Day and National Training.
Come on.
And it's not request time off, and you know, it's respectful, but I'm taking February and July.
Yes, sir.
But it's respect, but it's not like, you know, I'm doing it, y'all better. They just know that that's what he does. And they respect it, and they know he's gonna be gone in February. He's gonna be gone in July. That's his faith. So the blessing of me going all around is I'm trying to accept my own and be myself.
Any other questions before we get ready to close out? Go ahead, Brother Sherman.
As far as the FOI training, can you all share the importance of the training, dealing with kind of what you did with, when you say you take off or whatever. How we handle that, there's a training part of our FOI class that we learn from a basic standpoint that can take us through anything of that sort or tougher situations. So what I'm asking is if you could share, each of you share one or two quick foundational points of the training that has helped you through your full-time position.
Well, I mean, thank you for your question, firstly.
You remember Brother Josh from Atlanta?
Yes, yes. Yes, I was just wondering when he's repatriating.
Watch
Watch
it now, we might
That's
have
a
to
no-no. That's a no-no.
edit that out, Brother Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, the FOI is militant, you know, but he's also obedient.
That's right.
You know, he's tolerant also. And so when I go to work, you know, as a nurse, you know, I remember that I'm FOI. So I don't ever want to be in a situation where, you know, my wife come around and I have to act differently. You know, or a believer come around and I have to act differently. You know, so I'm not gonna abjure or put my Islam behind my back, you know, to fit in to a world. You know, you don't have to denounce what was to establish what is. I'm Muslim.
Right.
You know, and I'm Muslim first.
That's right.
You know, so I'm not nurse first. I'm a Muslim first.
Right.
You know, nurse and all that. That's secondary and tertiary. You know what I mean? So my pride is my Islam. So how do I treat patients? How would the young women lose fire? I was on top of why I treat patients. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm the best nurse in the world. Why? Because I know God and His Christ. You know, so the patients have someone that serves them because I'm an FOI. You know what I mean? I mean, I've been in a situation where patients try to give me, big money, and I can't accept it.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Because of, you know, of the laws. You know, a gentleman found out, he said, "You're a Muslim?" I've been doing this plasmapheresis, or plasma exchange, for like a whole month. Jewish guys, and he told me, pick out anything you want. And he must have had some long dollars.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You know, he said, no, seriously. Because plasma exchange is when the body has an automatic, an autonomous, you know, those kind of diseases that the body eats itself. So the antibodies that's supposed to protect you, it proliferates and it creates too much. And I think he had like Guillain-Barré or one of those, and I would go in and, you know, pull his blood out, separate it with a blood thinner, and remove as much plasma as I could, and give a replacement fluid to remove as many antibodies, to give the body a chance to heal. And I was doing that, very specialized procedure. I was doing that for like a month, and he saw my name one day because he saw I guess I must have worn my name tag, and it said Muhammad. And he said, "You're a Muslim?" He's like, I don't know what his idea of Muslim was, but I think over a month he had already cemented that I was kind by Allah's grace and permission. He's like, wow, and I didn't know that. You know what I mean? So go pick anything you want. You know, I could have gone and picked a car. You know what I mean? But I see myself as an FOI as a gift, and so the world should see us as a gift. You know, Minister Farrakhan said every gift commands the attention of the receiver. You know, so they should be able to unwrap us as we serve them.
Yes, sir.
So as an FOI, it allows me to be kind, but also allows me to be strong. You know, and as an administrator, I don't try to fit in and buck dance. You know, if there's something that I think is adversary to operational structure, I say it. You know, is there something in the finances that I don't think is right? I do it. I remember, I'm not going to say the company I worked for, but one of the workers was making, to me, a very small wage for being there 15 years. You know, and I sent an email and leveled her up $6 per hour. You know, it was on the next check. She cried. But I couldn't look at that as an FOI and say, and I said to the manager, the operation, and the vice president, but how can you do her review every year and not recognize she was so grossly underpaid.
Right.
So as an FOI, the fruit is the best.
That's right.
You know, but it has to be best morals. That's a big one. Best spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Best finances. You know what I'm saying? Best everything. You know what I'm saying? I just sent my wife a lump sum of money, and she asked me, "What is this money for?" I said, "Well, find something to do with it. There's always Timu." Women call that retail therapy. You know what I mean? So how can I not be the best? You know what I mean? And being the best doesn't mean that you're always gonna be the best, but your intention to be the best should always be perfect. And so I always say to myself, I may not be perfect, but my intention should be perfect. You know what I mean? Because the Holy Quran says, most excellent the patron, most excellent the helper. So to have a desire for perfection and for excellence, and that's respect for God's creation.
Yes, sir.
So we should all want the best. We should all want to be excellent. We should all want to be strong. We should all want to be kind. One of the things I'll say in my closing is that when you're wrong, just don't be long in admitting that you're wrong. You know what I mean? When you have to ask for forgiveness, don't let it take a year. You know what I'm saying? You know, my brother, don't be bearing no witness now. You know, when you find out that you could have done this better, apologize. You know, sometimes patients rub me the wrong way. You know, and I gotta go back and I hold their hands and I, look, man, I didn't mean to talk to you like that. You know what I mean? And it has to be personal. So being an FOI and the training that we get in FOI class, you gotta personalize it. You know what I mean? And you have to be enamored with it. Like too many times we're enamored with this book and that movie and this institution. I'm not enamored with nothing but the Nation of Islam.
Is the wheels up?
Yeah. So when you ask that question, I immediately went to security. I immediately went to security.
Of course.
And I say that because I wouldn't be getting paid doing security if it wasn't for the nation. Come on.
Wow.
I didn't go to no security training school. I came through the nation.
Right.
I came through class.
Come on, testify.
I was a lieutenant 2 weeks after I got registered. You know, I had been around the mosque for a while, so they were like, yeah, get to work. But no, our training, you know, our training is part. I mean, it is the best.
Yes, sir.
And so I respect, even though I do deal with corruption in law enforcement, and we deal with all of the stuff that go in law enforcement, but I also have respect for law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
I respect the FBI, the Secret Service, because I work with Secret Service. You know, I've had to deal with that. I've had to deal with TSA, dealing with the minister. So I respect their post, but I know what I see when we roll.
Yes, sir.
So I've had the benefit of dealing with, you know, Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson, you know, I mean, whoever you can think of, you know, I literally have picked up Jay-Z from the blacktop, you know, like his private jet land, I pulled right up to the plane, get him in the car. Just recently, Keisha Lance Bottom, former mayor of Atlanta, picked her up, you know, got her in the plane, got her back to the plane. That's the FOI training.
Right.
I didn't get that nowhere else but from the FOI, right? And I say that because and me doing the security with all these folks, and watching, I was like, okay, the biggest detail I see, maybe 2-car detail. But I know what it looks like when we're doing the ministers. I know what it works like when I'm doing the advanced work and going into the city and meeting with this folk. That FOI training, we come and we have our suits on. We'll meet with all these laws, these high level people. We're meeting with city council. We meeting with different folks. I remember the minister was coming where I had to help set up a meeting with the chancellor at the university. But that's the FOI training. Right. Because it's a certain look that we come in. We ain't come with no jeans, no sneaks. All right, y'all. So we come in like we know what we're talking about. We at a high level, so we're the ministers are head of state, so we're representing a head of state. So we're as dignified men. We're ambassadors. So when I'm seeing the security, I always say I don't know any other security detail outside of the President of the United States that compared to what I see with the minister.
That's right.
And I'm saying that from being on details with police cars with the detail. or for whatever, or seeing our sister drive in Jamaica, being in the detail with mother, going to an event, and they in Jamaica, driving on the other side of the road. We're doing security because there's a protocol in our training that have to be set up to do that, and we don't get paid. Secret Service get a salary, get a training, get all the things. We gotta go. Look, minutes gonna be where?
That's right.
We roll. We show up. So a lot of times folks be saying the team like, oh, no, you don't know if they not sleeping in 2 and then 3 in the room. You don't know that. Cause I've seen some stuff. And you don't know who's paying for what. We roll, we get the SUV, you don't know how many credit cards. Look, in the early days, in the 90s.
Yes, sir.
In the 90s now,
Yes,
that question earlier, what we may do different, we may do that different. We ran up some credit card. As a student, you got that Discovery $1,000 and you got that other card. Yeah, we ran up some credit card. And we ran up some cars up and down this road. I lost some jobs on the minister. There was a time, Ben Chambers was coming to North Carolina and said there's a threat on his life. We need to roll out. We had a class. Yes, sir. They go to work the next day. I'm in the car going to wherever city we're at. We on this detail securing him. That was just that drive.
Right.
But that security mind now, when I'm doing stuff, I'm always like, you handle logistics, you handle security. No, but you are. And just the way we move because of that training, just how we is different.
Right.
It's different than, matter of fact, I had I ain't gonna say that, but I had 2 officers with me. And I'm like, what y'all doing? One officer, she was like, okay, you sign my, like, look, let's get it signed later. You got the benefit of having her in your car. You got the benefit of going to her hotel room after everybody. You ain't got to try to get her to sign right now, but they ain't have no discipline. That's not something we do, because we see a brother or sister trying to, we'll look at one another like, we'll check one another. We don't do all that. We here for security. We ain't here. No. Now, you're going to see me with a lot of pictures, but that's after the fact.
Right.
Or somebody may have caught me in the picture working, but it's because of this training. And the other part about it, we love our people.
That's right.
So when we secure, sometimes brothers do it for the money, but my security, my personal, is because of the minister.
Yes, sir.
He sees value in them, and if our people sees value, so I'm gonna give you the value and the security that you need based off the value that the minister has taught us about our people. So I'm not gonna just do it for the high level, because you come on Sunday at the mosque, who's gonna welcome you at the front door? I'm the one that's gonna lock the door, and I'm on front door post. I'm gonna be with my student minister. Because we don't just do it for the celebrity, we do it in our mosque. So we have check every meeting. We have security every meeting. So this is a part, so that training, man, I call the E-team, I call brother E-team crying all the time. Like, yo, I was driving the SUV, I was doing this, and I pulled up, and I'll be telling them stories, because I just be so excited, because I got it from us.
Yes, sir.
I come, yo, I did advance, I did this, and I'm so excited. And then when I'm around us, they're like, okay, because this is just what we do, right? But I'm so, like, when I see outside looking at us, we are something else.
Yes, sir.
And I gotta say it again, I have not seen a detail with all of the celebrities, all of the hip hop artists, I remember Cash Money last year when they did a street limit, they had about 8 cars, but their 8 cars wasn't like our detail. But I'm saying on a regular, going to concerts, doing this, doing big events, speaking events, there's no other detail that I've seen like the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, except for the President of the United States. And I have seen that, I watched that, and I was working with Obama doing his campaign at one point and saw some stuff. But our level of expertise and respect from their side, they respect, they are trained in this. Secret Service, I don't disrespect them, y'all do your job, but they honor us. And they honor the security and the training of the FOI. And even in Baltimore, as I'm a Baptist Muslim, I'm gonna wrap up. In Baltimore, when the rise of Freddie Gray, they gave it over to the FOI to calm the crowd and the riots that were going to break down. They gave it over to the FOI. Matter of fact, as Brother Sharif will talk about the Million Man March, they gave, look, you got this. All of the law enforcement in the nation was coordinated for the Million Man March. And at some point, you got this. Thank you.
Yeah, I got one more question.
Yes, Brother Terrance, I'm so happy that you gave that for the new believers to that Farrakhan swag. I want them to hear that. But have you ever heard the video that Jim Jones did about that boy? Anybody else heard that?
Oh, I got that. I got that on my phone. I got that video.
He said, just don't.
He said, just don't because they rolled up at the hotel. You know, you saw them all in the cars, rolling out. And it's funny because somebody made a clip of us 2012 at Holy Day with Tony in Charlotte. In the middle of rolling out, and we was all in the car, nobody's side. And then they had that Jim Jones piece. But yeah. But people know. I mean, no, they know when they see the FOI roll up. And it's a different look, because when you're organized and you all in unity, it's a look that you cannot explain. I'll give you an example where I wasn't even thinking that we were dropping off a sister who was doing some, it was in 1998, it was a Million Youth Movement. We was going to Atlanta, we were dropping off a sister to her friend's house. And I think her friend's brother was there at the house. So just us, we couldn't. I'm going to the door first before she gets to the door, knock on her, and the dude open, and I walk on in before she comes in. You see the two brothers walking the sister in, and we put the luggage down. He's like, what's going on? And we had suits on, so sometimes we don't even know our image to the outside and how it looks. And also the thing that just popped in my head about our training. We don't rely on weapons, but every person that I deal with up on the highest level of our nation, in the highest training, all of us seek refuge in Allah. All of us pray, no. I've seen brothers, they pray so slow as though they believe that God is listening. When we check, there's a certain way that we do our check. We're not rough with the people. We're feeling your spirit. We're touching sensitivity. It's a skill to that. So when we in the room, we're looking. We're picking up on people's spirit. And then the other part of, I'm trying to give an atmosphere in the room that you ain't got to do nothing. I'm not trying to take you out. I'm going to put so much love in it that what you thought is not going to be in there. But our training helps us in our spirituality, because they do like the morality. If our spirit is not right, we're not going to pick up when Satan is about to move. It's our sensitivity of being alert and calling on a God. Security is not, that's when you get knocked out. That's when somebody comes through the back door. That's when somebody comes. It's when that person is sitting on the front row. He's like, something ain't right with that. Because you're picking up on the spirit. Something just, because the Spirit of God, we call on Allah. We go into prayer before we go into detail. We don't make no assumptions that Allah is not with us. We call on Allah and ask Him to be with us in every situation. Because for those that don't know, when we do security for the ministry, there's not something that this is like we just doing to just help hassling. No, there's situations that have happened. That's right. There are many situations where they have tried to literally kill, bomb the minister. And things were set off, or things were done that Allah blessed us and intervened.
Yes, sir.
So this is
take your question, and then we'll be ready to close out.
I'll
take your question.
Right quick for the Terrance. Now, this is a request. Now, you said you take pictures with celebrities and send them to the minister and get agreed, right? Now, I'm not a celebrity. Not by long. For real. I would like to take a picture with you, with my wife and my son, to send to the minister, because I just want to thank him for what he installed in me. And I want him to see that. Coming from where I come from, if you could do that, Brother Terrance, I'll like every post you put out.
Just take that.
So it's a question for both of you. I wanted to know, do you wear your FOI pin as well when you go on security. But my question is about Sister Khadijah, the minister's wife, of course, Mother Khadijah. What do you all, what's your experience been like with her? I know you talked about some funny stuff on that last, I have a testimony. So I just was wondering, I know she's very down to earth from my brief encounters, but I was just wondering.
But I can't remember what I said on my
You talked about, she offered to buy you dinner.
Yeah,
Oh, yes. She offered to buy me dinner in St. Thomas. Well, the minister was going to the Caribbean. My uncle called me and said, hey, your man is going to be here, and the main man is going to be here in Dominica. And I was like, what? I didn't hear about it. So I tried to catch a flight, and I couldn't catch any flights. And he said, well, when I called, he said, well, he's going to St. Thomas the day after. So I caught a plane out of St. Thomas. And then fast forward, I ended up on the detail of Mother Khadijah going to St. Thomas for Carnival, which I just found out she would go every year.
Yeah, she loved it.
She loved the Carnival. So I was down there on detail myself in D9, and you know, her daughter said, well, Mom would like to treat you to dinner. And that was kind of awkward because I always pay for the dinner, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And she was just like, Desmond, don't fight it, you know? Mom's gonna pay for your dinner. And, you know, she went to the horse race. She went to, you know, the governors, you know, invited her to everywhere. They made, an avenue for her everywhere she went. The governor made way for her. The president of the university, he said to Minister Farrakhan, I heard you speak when I was a college student, and he gave up the presidential house on the college university, so you know he could stay there, and Mother Khadijah can stay there, you know, and just to see her interact with people, she's very kind.
She is.
Extremely kind in her approach. And then there's the other side where she just changes gears, you know, and she gets a little stern, you know, if she finds something out of box. You know what I'm saying? And I think one of us mentioned something, and she said, you think the minister don't know? I said, oh, I never seen that side of her, you know? You know what I mean? But to see her interact with people, to see her interact with her daughters, you know, that mother-daughter relationship, you know, to see her interact with all the government officials and to represent the nation well, you know, with grace.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Not loud and, you know what I mean? Just really that feminine side of the Honorable Minister. She definitely is his second self, you know what I mean? So to see that on an international front, it's really awe-inspiring because she represented you all, the MGT, very well. That means when we go behind her now, we gotta represent the same way. Make sure it's congruent with and complementary to the way that she you know, represented the MGT and the Nation of Islam. You know, I couldn't be more honored to help with security, but to see her also enjoy herself, you know, to see that humanity and enjoy, you know, I didn't know she liked Calypso. You know, and she liked the Calypso and she enjoyed herself, she enjoyed the Caribbean food. And it was all inspiring. Yeah. And any chance you get to be around the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his family, I mean, for me it was like, this little boy from St. Thomas had an opportunity to be with the minister and his family and to be with Mother Khadijah. Like sometimes I'm still like, wow, you know, and I never take it for granted, the opportunity to sit down, you know, with them. The last thing I would say also is when Brother Terrance spoke about the minister's schedule, listen, that thing is grueling. It's unimaginable to wake up that early, exercise, play violin, have a speaking engagement at the radio at 7 a.m., leave there at 9, come home 9:30, have another one at 11, speak there, go till 2:30, come back, have to be at an auditorium at 4 o'clock, speak there for 3-4 hours, and then come home at 7 or 8, and then every official who's who among who's who invites them to dinner. And then, you know, my eyes are heavy. and he's still at the table teaching at 12 o'clock. And that's day in, day out. One day, I ain't gonna lie to you, I woke up like midday. The E-team left me and Minister B.I. The minister allowed me to ride with the E-team because I was with Minister Abdul B.I., who is from Louisiana, right? He's like one of my best friends. And so we just passed out. The schedule was too grueling. And I said to them, don't you want to put a day in between so the minister could get some rest? I guess I was asking for rest for myself. But to see him work like that, then there's nothing that I can do to suggest that I'm being overworked after witnessing that kind of grueling schedule. That's insane. I think under normal circumstances, I think most of us, our immunity would break down and we'd get sick. It's unimaginable, that kind of schedule without the adequate rest to have your body to restore itself. So that kind of schedule is, man, I almost started looking at people funny when they made their schedule. Like, but I guess he wouldn't have it any other way. You know what I mean? So I'm not here to judge it, but he's a workaholic. And his wife are certainly complimentary to his work.
Beautiful.
To Allah. So I haven't had much interaction with Mother, but it's interesting when you were talking about the Caribbean. I just remember Jamaica, Holy Day was in Jamaica, and we had done a security run, and I thought we were just going to get set for the minister to go, and it ended up not being the minister, it was Mother, and we went to somewhere, it was at night in Jamaica, this compound, and they was having a reggae concert, and I'm up on this building, on the uplook looking, and I'm like, I'm in Jamaica, let's at a reggae concert. So I'm just bugging out, but I'm watching Mom, and she just having a great time. And then after a couple of hours, I was like, we leaving? And she just having a great time. And so what I saw at that moment was just that she loves to enjoy life, right? And just enjoy, and she travels to different places, and she enjoys life. But the stern part, what made me laugh is when we was at, Sister Naima had this long, some kind of tube, but then this big thing on the top, like a flower on the top. So when the minister, I was like, okay, we're gonna leave this on all the table. I'm like, I don't want the minister to hit, So I started removing it from her table while she was sitting there. And she said, why are you moving it? I don't know. I'm stuck like, I look at Sister Naima, but I wasn't gonna say nothing, right? And she said, oh, Mother, because we want to make sure you, she said, oh, okay. So I moved it from there. When she did it, I was like, I just stopped. I was like, what do you tell Mother? You know what I'm saying? The Messiah's wife. How do you? But, and I love how she is with the children. And seeing the babies and all the children that come up to her, she just has a loving heart. And then at the national training, the picture that got captured, I had a bunch of pictures I can't share, but I saw some pictures, when she was the minister and just holding his hand, it's just so beautiful. So the love that she has for him, and as she listens and watches, even when she's on stage at Savior's Day, just to see her attentiveness to him, even 2024 when he came off the rostrum and then he kissed her. It's like she's our mother.
That's right.
And it's not like she is our mother.
Yes, sir.
And we should really reflect on who she is, being the wife of a man who the number one aim of this world is kill the message of God.
Yes, sir.
And she has to be his peace. He is in the seat of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and she has to be his peace.
Yes, sir.
So what does that mean? And she bore these children for him. She traveled the world with him, been amongst head of states around the world. Mother Khadijah, to see her in her elegance and her calmness and her peace is a very deep testimony to her faith in Allah. Because it takes a lot to also hear what you hear about your own husband, to know what you see within your own nation, and for her to have this peace security, it depends on the situation.
Oh, okay.
Lastly, any
Can I comment?
Yes.
Quick, thank you so much, both of you, for what you shared.
It's beautiful.
And thank you for what you shared about, Sister Ava. You know, I was holding back tears because I saw Sister Sean crying and I couldn't, you know. But I mean, I'm almost mentally still there where I was told by Sister Sean that she had transitioned. But thank you for sharing those last moments, you know, you still think in your mind, you know, how that thing went down. And thank you so much. You know, I've always wondered this connection or this thing black men in the nation had with Minister Farrakhan, this interaction, this certain kind of relationship. Because it's a certain thing that men in the nation have with the minister that women don't.
That's right.
And I wondered what that was, and you helped me to see that. When you said, when you had COVID, and you didn't know if you was about, you know, you was near death,
Right.
you knew how to act based on how he acted.
That's right.
You knew how to
That's right.
respond based on how he responded.
That's right.
You know, so from that I see clearly reform, what that means, so you know what you ought to be.
Right.
You know, and that transformation, I saw that when you said that, and I saw that, see more clearly that connection that black men have with Minister Farrakhan.
And
And your lecture today was beautiful.
No, I would say that connection is that both men, brothers and sisters, see God.
Yes, sir.
Black men have to see God.
Yes, sir.
To submit to a God.
Right,
Yes, sir.
right.
Farrakhan exemplifies being a God.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we see strength and power. We don't see nothing weak.
Yes, sir.
So that makes us. And the woman, when she said, "Oh, man," you know what I'm saying? So we both, but we both see God.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? But you see integrity. You see deep in a world where you don't see a man. You see this man
That's right.
who says what he means and does what he says. We see, so it's Farrakhan, it's nothing like him. And we ain't seen no black man with an entourage role like that.
Yes, sir.
Man, please, to even walk with him, to rope, man, it's an energy.
Yes, sir.
It's an energy that if the minister had to go through that wall, the wall would be gone.
Right.
The wall will be removed. That's the energy and the aura that is carried by the minister. So the minister it's not just his verbal speech, it's the spirit.
Lord have mercy.
That's why the minister said, you can't do what I do by just saying my words if you don't have my spirit. You have to have the spirit that he speaks from with the surety that he knows that God is real. He doesn't speak out of words. He doesn't say nothing that he thinks is going to happen. He knows is going to happen. Let me share this one story. I don't know if they told it or not. It was a captain's retreat in St. Louis. The captains all there. I was helping the captain's retreat, and there was a tornado alarm went off with the Scientology building. And Mustafa was there, so we all had to go downstairs. And we were all downstairs. Oh, why are we downstairs? They white folks told me we gotta be downstairs. So we started coming back up, right? And then the alarm goes back off again. We're like, we ain't going downstairs. We looked outside, the trees had started leaning sideways. Okay, let's go back downstairs. And next thing you know, we get up the next morning, trees everywhere. A tree that was 100 years old was snatched up. And it was like, if I stand up, it was 3 times, the base stuff was 3 times my height.
Wow.
That's how big this tree fell down. Mind you, all this is going on with the captains. We hear that the minister is having dinner the night that this storm is going on. He's at the dinner table, his back is to the window. Alarm goes off in the hotel. He not getting it. He said, I'm not getting up, I'm teaching. He says, ain't nothing coming through this window.
Yes, sir.
Because he knows that God is controlling all of that. I mean, mind blown. So the next day he comes to where we are, therefore while we picking up trees, moving out the way so he can just drive up, come out and teach the men.
Wow.
But I've seen this minister, it's unlike anything. You've seen on the video when he was in Atlanta, the young girl asked a question and he responded and she's like, I saw her shaking, reaching. Like the scriptures, can I just touch your hem of your garment? I saw her reaching, can I hug you? Taking the minister out of DC, Mosque number 4, and I told this story before going out, and we almost outside to the car, but the way DC, some steps that come up, and this brother looked like he came from the streets. He like, I ain't gonna do drugs no more. And it was like Jesus saying, go sin no more.
Wow.
You can see how the minister touched him and loved him. The team had to stop because he stopped to address the brother.
Wow.
He didn't say, no, brother, I gotta go. He addressed the brother. The brother was in tears. So it's like when this testimony, I thank a lot for you, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Because we have to testify what we know of him. We can't act like we ain't seen stuff and don't know.
Come on.
I can't hide because Fox done put me all over the damn world. That I'm with him because I love him. But I love him because he is helping me to learn how to love myself. To push out all this stuff that's still in me out. But we have to bear witness to who he is and what I've seen and what we know. So it's not, when we talk about Sister Ava, man, we saw how much she loved him.
Right.
But I see it in so many sisters.
Yes, sir.
And I know these brothers, we love the ministry, but we love the army, we love the strength. But what makes us not love this is how we treat one another. So the testimony is not to test about him and test about how beautiful he is, and we don't testify about the goodness of the brotherhood, the goodness about the sisters. Like, see, I shared a video of you, sister. You was in somewhere with a group of sisters, and you start teaching, and sister, yo, know who you are. And you know what I'm saying? And that went viral.
That's right.
And when I say my squad, I literally say that's my squad.
Yes, sir.
When I see him with the Mardi Gras, that's my peoples right there. And we need to be like that, not just with the minister, one another. There's so much beauty in each one of us. We got to figure out what that is. And I love it like I got my little carrot cake, my little bean pies. I don't know who made it, but I'm gonna eat it because that's us. But I'm saying there's so much beauty in us, and that's what the ministers helped me. That I love us, and I love us like when you see good in it. The minister helps us see good in everybody. I went to Stand the Rock and was in Stand the Rock helping the indigenous people fight against a pipeline. So why you over there? Because the minister wants to help our people.
That's right.
The minister helps people all across this world. So he is that guy. In the testimony, I can't act like he hasn't helped me. I can't act like I don't have a job. Because we talk about hip hop. So the minister was teaching in the 70s before they said the birthday of hip hop. He was in New York and that minister. And the 5% got all that teaching and all that stuff coming in hip hop. The minister nation was involved in that. I got a job in the hip hop caucus I get paid for. I'm doing security and all the people getting a check because of my training in the nation. So my charity is up. My saving day is up. I give my percentage. All praise be. We gotta testify.
And let us thank our minister for doing a beautiful job as an interviewer. I told my husband this morning when I listened to that interview with Brother Desmond, I said, you did a really good job. The brother was full and he let him get it out, and he let you all get it out today. It was beautiful. Y'all fed us.
We're gonna end on that note. Remember, Brother Kenneth will be here, inshallah, next Sunday. So let's make sure we pack the house. I'll make sure we come out as well. And thank you. And we'll talk about when you're next.